Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show, an amazing video podcast with sports stars, entertainment celebrities, and other great guests, combining one host who has no legs, one host who lives in Duluth, Minnesota, and another host who seems to never be on the show. But now, on to the show with Troy, Dave, and maybe even Will.
That's right. We are back, and it is great to be back here, back in Bristol, Connecticut, of course, where I am, and I'm going to bring in my buddy, of course, from Duluth, Minnesota. That would be the wonderful, talented Troy Geary. Troy, what's going on up in Duluth? Do you miss me? It's only been 4 days.
Yeah, quick 4 days ago, we were having fun in the cities, so it was a great time.
All right. And I'd like to bring in our guest tonight, our guest who's been patiently waiting as we had a little blips getting things going here. But Blake Proehl is joining us. And if you don't know who Blake Proehl is, well, let's show you who he was as a former football player. He played in college, obviously, and had 3 years with the Minnesota Vikings playing with them. And then injury curtailed that a little bit, but still he got to the show and was a part of that team, and he is joining us tonight. And of course, we're going to talk about the story that makes him so unique. Is he's kind of like a Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders kind of thing, right there, Blake? Because
I don't know about that.
because Blake is now a singer, and Troy's going to ask you a question about that because it started out in a unique way. Troy?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's difficult to discuss your knee injury, what happened there, but how did you transition to that, dealing with that kind of chapter in your life and then focusing on the singing part?
Yeah, I mean, the injury for sure is the reason, like, why I found music. My entire life, my dad played in the NFL for 17 years, so we grew up, moving from state to state as he got traded or signed with a new team. And that's what put food on the table for us. So I just, our whole family loved football. We bled football, and that's all I cared about. I always loved music, but never had any singing lessons or piano lessons, guitar lessons, none of that. And dedicated my life to making it to the league like my dad. And finally did. And then I tore up my knee really bad. They said it was like one of the worst injuries they've seen since like Teddy Bridgewater. And they didn't know if I would ever be able to run again. So that was tough. Ended up making it back, but that's the time period that I found music. And somebody had bought me a guitar, ironically, and they put it next to my bed, and I just started like playing it when I was like basically handicapped on bed rest before my second surgery, and started singing with it, and ended up posting a video with Nana. And that's kind of what pulled me in. It was kind of a joke at first, and then people like really liked my voice, and it was like the most random thing ever. And now I'm fast forward, like it's just crazy.
Well, let's bring it up now. That since you're talking about it, this is the kind of thing that this was pre-Idol, and again, set us the scene because you kind of were pranking her. She didn't know you could do all this, right? So set the scene.
So actually, backstory: my grandma is the one person that always thought that I could like sing. Like she always heard like a voice in me for some reason, like whether it was in the car or whatever. But I would always be like, oh heck no, like whatever. I never actually like fully sang in front of her. She just thought I could if I ever tried. And she had no idea I could play the piano. Like during this time, it was the fall. I had gotten hurt in training camp, and I started to teach myself piano, guitar, and like singing. So I learned a song on piano, just like exactly where to put my fingers, like very simple chords. Didn't know what I was doing, but just learned where to put my fingers, and then learned the song. And so I went to go visit my grandma in Raleigh, North Carolina, flew down for Christmas from Minneapolis during the season. So I got about 2 months of practicing under my belt here. And I set up the phone in her flower pot, and she has a little piano. And I just, for the first time ever, played piano and like sang. Like that was one of the first times I've sang in front of anybody.
Well, let's play it. Let's see the historic Nana video from Instagram. Here we go.
No, you mind if I play the piano?
Can you?
It's worth a shot.
In case you didn't know, baby, I'm crazy about you. And I would be lying if I say that I could live this life without you. Even though I don't tell you all the time, you had my heart a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know.
Blake?
That is so cool. So what was the rest of the family's reaction to once you kind of had that secret going?
That was crazy. I don't know, like my dad and my mom were just like shook to the core. Like honestly, my whole family, like it was honestly like a loss for words. Like what are we doing here? Like, is this serious? Like I guess there's like millions of people now. That video got like 30 million views, like hundreds of thousands of people, like, and so I kind of got like sucked in. I really wasn't ready. Like listening back to that video, like that whole time I'm like cringing out because I've just grown so much from like vocally, and I've just learned so much more. So it's funny that people like truly loved that, which means a lot to me. But yeah, my family was, I think we were all just kind of at a standstill, like what's happening. It wasn't like a big shock, like let's go. It was more like, what do we do with this? Like, I guess people like this. Like, do I chase this? You know, while I'm also still recovering and still have a dream to like be a football player, even though like I don't know if I can make it back from this injury. So it was just a weird time period, to be honest with you.
And then, of course, came the audition, and I want to show that because that was very beautiful too. And Nana tagged along for that.
I can't count the times I almost said what's on my mind, but I didn't. I just didn't. And just the other day, I wrote down all the things I'd say, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I would be lying if I said that I could live this life without you, even though I don't tell you all the time. You had my heart a long, long time ago. Yeah, you had my heart a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know. Oh no. In case you didn't know. In case you didn't know.
Very good.
And of course, Katie had to come
Just
over.
sign right here.
Yeah.
Your autograph.
Yeah,
There you go. Okay.
oh, yeah,
You're not
okay.
allowed to leave the show.
So, what was that experience like? I mean, to go from, you know, the disappointment of an injury to that, I mean, that experience, and to share it with Nana. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Man, it was honestly the most full circle moment ever. Like right here, you can tell I get like a little emotional right here. Like, see, I'm trying to like hold it back. It was just like there was so much, like, I can't even describe to the amount of pain, and like I had never been in such a low point when I got injured, because it was everything I dreamed of to make it to the NFL. My whole entire life was dedicated to being an NFL football player. And it wasn't just to make it, it was to be somebody. It was to like almost like beat my dad. And my dad had a 17-year career, went to 4 Super Bowls, 2 rings. Like, it was already such a high ceiling, and having this right when I get to like the spot I've wanted to be at, and like it was just the beginning for me, was so hard. And I think fast forward into that moment, it all hit me at once. So it was very emotional for me, because I was like, this was all for a reason. And for me, like I'm a big believer. I have a lot of faith in God. So I think it's a God thing. You know, whatever you believe in, for me, like that was a huge full circle moment for me. So that meant a lot to me, for sure.
Yeah, and just talk about Katy Perry. I mean, this was her last season on American Idol. What was it like for you just being up there and being an instant fan of yours right off the bat?
Yeah, that was breathtaking too. Just because like such a big like pop star is like instantly like on the spot. I had no idea. Like as soon as I opened up my mouth, like she had a reaction. So like that was crazy watching back. That's why honestly, like in the moment, there's so much stuff going on in my head. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like even while I'm singing, like who brought me here? Like what is going on? This feels like a fever dream. So there's just a lot of emotions in that room. And then I get up and, standing ovation. She's like, I didn't even see her running over to me. So like I get over there and she's right there. And I thought I forgot to sign a document or something. So I didn't know she was even asking for my autograph. So it didn't register until she's like halfway away. That's why my face looks so just like dumbfounded. I'm like, what's going on? And then it hit me. And then she starts talking about, like complimenting me and I could be top 10. And it was a really reassuring because even in that moment, like I'm still venturing. I'm still like trying to figure out how to sing. I've never had lessons. I just started singing. I don't have any background, no experience. I've never sang in front of, there's millions of people are going to see that. You know what I mean? It was just a big moment. So to hear her say that, like I said, full circle moment, like it was like, I'm supposed to be in this moment for a reason. Like it was just reassuring for me to keep following the path,
And it really is. It's inspiring to see, where you were with your football career, and for this to totally kind of reinvigorate you and give you that second chance in life at somewhat stardom, but even more importantly, something that you can do well after football now. So We're going to showcase another song coming up in the next segment. We got to pay some bills. Troy Geary is going to talk to us about, Troy, I don't know. We got our little secret that we want to tell everybody as we come back. But you're watching Geary, Stein, and Stevens, so don't go away.
Looking for shirts as a thicker guy can be difficult, but Fresh Clean Threads has you covered. They're designed with a little extra room in the stomach area, but still a nice clean fit on the arms and chest. They're also so comfortable that my girl loves to steal them to sleep in sometimes. They're easily the best fitting shirts I've ever worn. I get compliments every time I throw one on. People even ask if I've been hitting the gym more. Fresh Clean Threads fit like a designer shirt, but for a fraction of the cost. You've got to check them out.
Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens for the Geary, Stein and Stevens show at the Miami Marlins ballpark. And you know what? We get great stars, celebrities, and entertainers on our show, but there's all kinds of great programming and content on Your Home TV. Your Home TV is a free on-demand streaming service reaching global audiences. They feature family-friendly programs with a vast selection of topics and interests. Their platform ideally matches content producers, leading viewers, smart device precision, and immersive HD experiences, plus ease of transaction solutions for everyone. Plus, they've got great shows and content like A Moment of Zen, Financial Freedom, The Retirement Halftime Show, and Make It Happen. And they have all kinds of travel shows, food shows, great programming, and great content. So, for more information, go to yourhometv.com. Check out the Geary, Stein and Stevens show and all of the other great shows. yourhometv.com. Tell them Dave sent you. All right, welcome back to the Geary, Stein and Stevens show, and we're going to continue this amazing transformation from football to music. Of course, Blake Proehl is joining us, and Blake, so you have been, do you consider yourself a musician, singer, songwriter? What do you think what are you now?
All the above, I think. I write songs, I release songs. I'm going on my first tour this fall. I guess what a full-time musician, artist, singer-songwriter, all of them.
And let's get a couple of plugs in. So you got a show coming up in Minneapolis. I've been to the Fine Line. Troy, have you been up there to the Fine Line?
Yeah, it's a great venue.
Yeah, man.
Tell us what's going on.
I had my first ever headline show last year before training camp. So that was crazy because I'm like training in the morning for camp, but I'm also rehearsing at night. my receivers coach for the Vikings called me Moonlight because he was like, "You better save that." I can't cuss on this, but for nighttime, so I'm gonna call you Moonlight. You better not be singing during the day. You better be running routes. But I had my first show there last year, and I loved the venue. It was perfect size for me, and just beginning as an artist. And the Minneapolis crowd is amazing. So this year, I'm hoping to even up that show, and I have a whole different set list.
And you got this one coming up at your alma mater where you played college football. I mean, Pirate Radio football kickoff. You're the headliner. That's got to be fun to go back.
I'm excited, man. I haven't been back to my college town in a while, so it's cool to come back in a different light. And I'm headlining the theater down there on kickoff weekend for their opening their season, so I'm excited.
Before we play this song, Wave, tell us a little bit about it and the background behind the song.
Yeah, so Waves is one of the first songs I wrote too. It's more like gospel leaning. I'm not a gospel artist, but I grew up in the church, and so I when I first started writing songs, I was like, I'm just gonna write as much as I can, and I really liked it. I hired a choir for it, and then one of the biggest worship bands out right now called me one day and asked me to do a version of it with them in their next album, and they actually dropped it on their album, and I flew out. That was the first time I had ever performed with a full band in my life with in-ears or anything. So the video you're about to see, I don't know how much you're going to play of it, but that's the first time I've ever sang live and with a band. And it was one of the biggest CCM bands in the whole world right now. So it was really cool experience.
What's the name of the band?
Maverick City Music.
Maverick City Music. All right. Well, without further ado, Waves.
It's hilarious.
I've been alone, I've been afraid, been embarrassed, been ashamed, I've been defeated, been betrayed, it comes in waves. I've been excluded, cast aside, let somebody steal my pride. Been blinded by things I hate, it comes in waves. Come on. But I know these waves will crash over me, but I have faith. The tide won't take me. And even when the water's rising, you help me swim to shore. I know these waves are rough, but you never let me drown before. I've been wounded, crushed by fear, hate, even looking in the mirror. Felt insecure from what they say, it comes in waves. I've lost myself and lost my soul, trying to make myself feel whole. Been enemies with my own brain, it comes in waves. But I know these waves will crash over me, but I have faith. The tide won't take me, and even when the water's rising, you help me swim to shore. I know these waves are rough, but you never let me drown before. In my darkest day, I will trust in you through my hurt and shame. You will see me through. You love me the same, so I sing your praise even when I lost my way. Crash over me, but I have faith. The tide won't take me, and even when the water's rising, you'll help me swim to shore. I know these waves are I know these waves, but I time before.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, to see your work like that, it's got to be just so humbling and yet so mesmerizing when you put all that work into it. I was sitting here with my lighter, like I was going to be, I mean, it was so much fun to watch you perform like that. So Blake, tell us what was that experience like?
It was amazing. It was honestly like my parents were there, and it was my mom's that's one of her favorite bands. So to see me like in that environment, never sang with a band, like going from 0 to 100 immediately was insane. First time using like in-ears, like I was just freestyling honestly, and it worked out great. They were amazing people to work with. That's what made the experience great. And it was a song I wrote, and it was really cool. Honestly, I blacked out probably during the entire thing. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, it was great.
We've gotten a lot of emails from our viewers since we knew we were going to be on, and a lot of them ask about the experience from the golden ticket that you got in Nashville to actually the performances. What goes on during the week? Are you practicing 4 or 5 hours? Are you sequestered? Is like jury duty? You're not allowed to be out in public, so people know if you're still on the weeks because a lot of shows are live. So kind of just talk about the experience from the time in Nashville that you got selected until during your time on Idol.
Yeah, it was crazy. So the show is crazy because they have so many contestants competing at the same time, and like they went from 65,000 auditions down to obviously I think 160 people go to Hollywood. So they have a lot of people that they have to filter through. So you are sitting and waiting most of the time. Like what you see in the clips, like is a really small fraction of what actually goes on in your entire day. So you're in dressing rooms and waiting rooms, sitting with all the other contestants. So you get really, really close to the other contestants. We were like a big family. It almost felt like us versus American Idol because I don't know. I mean, you're just sitting there. You could be there from 5:30 a.m. call time until 11 p.m. at night. I mean, there was one day in Hollywood Week, we woke up at 5:30 and we were filming until I think one in the morning. Like we didn't get home until, I mean, it's a lot. It's a grind. But it taught me so much. Like without the Idol experience, I wouldn't be where I am right now. There was a lot of growing pains on my Idol experience, just like not being around the industry, not knowing really how to sing yet, with a band, staying on time. Like there's so much that goes into it. And it was the biggest blessing for me to grow. I grew exponentially just on the show.
And obviously getting into the top 25, not too bad, but what was the disappointment? Like you got in there and you're like, oh man, I just got here, right?
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, dude, if I'm being honest, I didn't even last year, I didn't even know I didn't expect to get a golden ticket. So for me, when I'm in the top 24, dude, like I felt like I won the Super Bowl. Like I am competitive as crap. So like once I'm there and I made it, I'm like, okay, now let's go win the thing. So it was a little disappointing when I went home, obviously, but to see me make the top 24 from 65,000 auditions is like, looking back, it's like that is a win in itself. And to be honest, like I don't want to like put anybody on blast, but you don't really exactly want to win American Idol. There's a lot of contracts and stuff you can get tied into, and I love the staff and the crew, and I'm so thankful for the experience. But I think me going home at that time was a blessing, and yeah, I'm just thankful for it. But yeah, my competitive side would say differently, but the mature side would say, let's go do our own thing now. You don't use American Idol to be Mr. American Idol. You use it to boost your own career and be your own artist,
Well, it's great, and we hope those successes continue. We saw the music video, we've heard your voice, but after this break, we want to talk a little football. And I think, as we mentioned, there's some people in the family that may know a thing or two about playing football. So
Yeah.
continue to watch us. You're watching Geary, Stein and Stevens. Don't go away.
Easter Seals is the largest nonprofit provider of disability services nationwide, helping kids and adults with autism to achieve maximum independence. People with autism are at higher risk for mental health conditions. 85% of autistic kids have at least one. That's why we're working to help autistic people with complex behaviors and mental health challenges. We are Easter Seals.
Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens here for the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show from Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Rays. And you know what? Not everybody can be a Major League Baseball player, but you can look like $1 million. What's the best way to do that? Well, go to freshcleanthreads.com. Don't believe me? That's right. You can look professional, feel good, and not spend a lot of money by wearing Fresh Clean Threads. They have amazing shirts. They've got Henleys and polos, long sleeves, and even bomber jackets. And if you like them, you can save some money by typing in the show code GSS Show from the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show to save 20% off. So if you can't be a major leaguer and you want to dress like one, well, go to freshcleanthreads.com. That's freshcleanthreads.com. Tell them Dave sent you.
All right, welcome back to the Geary, Stein and Stevens shows, where we wrap things up. And our guest tonight is Blake Proehl. And if you remember that last name, no, it was a shampoo. It's not a hair shampoo from back in the day. Ricky Proehl was a great, I think, 17-year receiver. Your dad, that had to be pretty cool. I know you were born kind of during his career, but that had to be just amazing growing up with your dad playing in the NFL.
Yeah, man. It was every kid's dream. I woke up every day getting ready for the next Sunday, going to watch him play. I'm the youngest, so I missed a good half of his career. Like, my sister was born in Phoenix, where he was drafted with the Cardinals, and she got to go to every city, and I was kind of the back end, like St. Louis, as you see there, and the Panthers and the Colts. So I miss a little bit, but I got to see all the way up until I was about 8 years old. So I was very aware. I remember the Super Bowl with the Colts when we won it, and it was amazing. I mean, like I said, it was a dream.
How did growing up in a football family help you to what to expect as a pro, knowing that your dad, and your brother also was in the league, help you with that?
Well, first of all, I mean, you have one of the, I think one of the best coaches. Not only was he an amazing football player, he ended up coaching afterwards, but he's one of the best coaches that you can find. I mean, to have him at your disposal, right there in your living room was honestly a cheat code. Like, I don't know if I make it to the level I did as a football player without him. Not only because of the gene pool, but obviously just because of just teaching me how to run routes. I mean, just that picture right there, that facility, we've spent thousands of hours on that turf field just running routes early in the morning for years and years and years and years. And he taught us so many little cheat codes about route running and setting defenders up and all of that stuff. Going to camps, it was easy to turn a coach's head just because of the way that me and my brother ran routes. I mean, it was, like I said, I kind of defined it as a cheat code, having him, in my ear. It was hard, very tough. He was one of the most disciplined fathers out there. He was on our butts 24/7, but looking back at it, it set us up for success. So,
and Blake, he actually quit. He walked away from a lucrative coaching career because he wanted to see you guys play. I mean, it's that little league syndrome, but truly amazing.
Yeah, man. I'll never forget that. We started. I think I went to ECU, East Carolina, and that's when he decided to retire, and so he could make our games. And Austin's back end of his collegiate career at Carolina, and then obviously me going to the Vikings and stuff like that. So he had more time, obviously, to come watch us play and kind of, I guess, see the fruits of him yelling at us at 6 a.m. our whole life and like, making us run all these crazy routes and all these crazy footwork drills, and it all paid off. So I think he wanted to see that come to fruition.
I want to ask you about your pre-draft process, and a lot of people want to ask that question. How many teams were interested in you, and how did you ultimately decide on the Vikings?
Yeah. So honestly, this is hilarious. Most of the teams that wanted me were all in the NFC North. Like the Packers, the Lions, not as much. Chicago a little bit, but really the Vikings, Lions, and Packers. I don't know what it is about the Midwest that just loved me, but that's I don't know what it was, but those were most of the calls I was on during the draft. Calls from the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. It was like the main three teams. I was like, what is up with y'all all in the same division? But yeah, it was great. So my favorite team, honestly, I had crazy interviews, Zoom calls with most teams in the league leading up to the draft. But my favorite one was the Vikings. So it was crazy to see how it came all together. Coach McCardell was just, first of all, unbelievable person, but even better. I mean, coach, he's just awesome. He played 17 years against my dad, knew my dad, respected him, and he saw a lot of my dad in me. And yeah, we had a great Zoom call, and then the draft came, and the Vikings, I want to say that year, they didn't have as many picks. I think their last pick was in the 5th round. And I get a text from Coach McCardell, and he's like, hey, like, get your phone ready. So I'm like, I'm about to go 5th round. Like, let's go. And apparently the way it works in the war room is the coaches going, I guess, what's the word? They basically try to get the other coaches to, like the GM. So what's the word? Present. They present like a player to the GM in the war room. And it was between me and a kid from Pitt, Jalen Twyman, I want to say his name is. He was a nose guard. And it was between me and him. And he was like, hey, it's between you and this other kid. Like, get your phone ready. And it ended up being Jalen. I think they needed a nose guard a little bit more. And so that was devastating. I want to hear my name called. But they called me, the head coach, Coach Zimmer, the OC. They all called me on like a Zoom call right after the pick, like immediately. And I'm like, why are they calling me? They just picked somebody else. And they're like, hey, like, we're willing to give you the biggest, like, free agent deal in the last like decade of Vikings. Like, we want you that bad. We were about to pick you, but we needed the nose guard really bad. So I just felt the love from the Vikings more than they were putting the money where their mouth was. Like, a lot of teams will call and they say they want this and that, but they're not putting the money where their mouth is. And the Vikings already loved the coaching staff. So I actually ended up signing with them before the draft was even over, which is probably, I don't know if that's right, but we did. My agent was like, dude, you got to go where you're loved. They're putting, you're getting guaranteed money. You're basically getting a 6-round contract as a free agent. And they're like, you have to do it. So I ended up doing that. And it was awesome. I mean, I had the best experience. The organization is just top dollar. I mean, they got unbelievable facilities. Just honestly, the whole building, all the staff, everybody down to the cook, the freaking chefs. Like, it's just a great environment to be in. I became a man there just being in that environment on a daily basis, to be honest.
Well, thank you for not picking the Packers, first of all. And I have one more quick Viking question. I mean, you practice every day with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you learn from him, and do you know how to do the gritty?
Oh, dude, my gritty's crazy. My gritty's nasty. He taught me how to do the gritty like one of the first days. He's first of all, besides him being the best receiver in the NFL by far, in my opinion, people can come at me all they want, Packer fans or whatever, but he's just like a great, humble kid. Like, you come in there and you think, first of all, like you said, you look up to him, he's amazing. I came in right after his rookie year, so he already had a crazy breakout year, but like it was before he even went the next level. and he was just the most humble kid. Like you would have such an unassuming superstar, like just such a hard worker too. A lot of kids like that, especially young, they get kind of caught up in themselves, I think, especially if they have a really good first year. They think they're the best ever. Nobody can tell me anything. He's just a coachable kid. He comes in every day, the same kid, hardworking, practices his butt off. I mean, and for rookies coming in to see somebody, it's like that's what it takes. And yeah, he's just, I mean, I couldn't say enough. I could talk all night about Justin. We still play video games to this day. Almost like it's been a couple of weeks since I've been around town doing music stuff, but he's just a good dude. I mean, all around good dude.
Did you play yourself in Madden as yourself?
No, we don't play Madden. We play Call of Duty.
Oh, hey, all right. And the new one's coming out here in October. So you excited for that?
Oh yeah, dude, we're freaking locked in. We'll be ready to go. Our squad against anybody.
I love playing Plunder, but that's another show. So, so how's the wheel? How is the leg? I mean, can you still go out and jog and do athletic things, or what? Tell us all about that.
Yeah, dude. A big misconception about my story is that like it ended my career, which it definitely took a turn for the worst. But dude, I mean, it's 16 months. Most people, I think they were expecting to cut me immediately once I got off the IR, but I had such a I really, really worked my butt off in rehab, and we had multiple surgeries, and I had a great trainer, David Jancy, still there. And I just came in every day, and I ended up coming back. It was the next season in the fall, right after the London game. I had I think a 21-day window. I got put on a PUP list to practice with the team. And I was a little rusty. I remember the first couple of days, I was like, whoa, the speed of the game is freaking fast. Like I've, been in the training room for over a year and a half now, and I get thrown in the fire. But I came back swinging. I mean, I remember the next week 2 of like my tryout period, I just had a crazy week of practice, like unbelievable. You're going against the first string defense. So I come off of the training room and I'm one-on-one against Patrick Peterson like day one. And I remember just having a great week of practice. And I think Kevin O'Connell was the new coach. So it wasn't the coaching staff that like really wanted me except for McCardell. So it was a little bit different. I had to win over a whole new staff. So that was really tough. But they ended up signing me back. So I made the team back. So a lot of people think like once I got injured, I was done forever. I ended up making the team and was on P squad the entire year, which was like a miracle for me to even just be on the team after such a crazy injury. Came back the next year, and that's when I got cut, which was last fall. And I had a couple practice squad opportunities elsewhere, but I ended up choosing music over football. And that's when I auditioned for American Idol about a month later. So my agent was like, hey, like we got people who want to sign you in practice squad, like let's go. And I ended up taking the leap of faith. And I don't know, I think after my first headline show, I like really just fell head over heels for music. And I was still a great football player after my injury, but there was definitely just something off just about my whole leg in general. I could still run like the wind and catch balls and run great routes, but I ended up choosing music over ball in the end. So it's kind of wild to say that out loud, especially if my younger self heard that. But it was a God thing for me.
Well, thanks to your faith and your family and everything, you seem to be so grounded and just an amazing kid. And we wish nothing for the best of you. I want to put up your website right now. And where can people follow you on social media, find your music, see where you're touring? Tell us all about how to watch you and hear you.
Nothing special. It's just my name. I don't have like a cool artist name. It's just Blake Proehl. All my social media, I have Instagram. Instagram's probably the most reliable place to find like me actively on a daily basis. But my website's there. It has like my tour dates, and we announced a tour. Obviously I have 2 headline shows, Charlotte and Minneapolis, but I have a tour coming up in the fall, my first ever tour, and it's with a couple other of the American Idol contestants. It's called Boys Night. It's me and some of my roommates throughout the process of American Idol, and yeah, we're going. It's kind of ironic because it's called Boys Night, but it's gonna be probably mostly females in the audience. So we're really excited about that. So that's coming up in the fall. We've announced it, but we haven't announced dates or anything yet, and those are getting finalized as we speak. So those are coming up in the next week or two. We're excited to announce the exact dates and venues and cities.
Well, so who has a better spread, the American Idol catering or Minnesota Vikings training camp?
Brainer there, I'm sure.
I would say Vikings training camp.
Yeah, I've been to Egan. It's amazing facility.
Best facility in the league, I think.
Well, Blake, it's been great to have you.
Real quick, all our Minnesota viewers get to his show July 25th at the Fine. It's going to be a great night. I'll be there, so
let's freaking go, baby.
We'll have to meet up maybe after. But yeah, the Fine Line, July 25th. Let's get that sold out.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
And before we let you go, are you pop? Are you like what is your genre?
If I'm being honest with you guys, when I first started writing, like I was like, all right, I'm straight down the middle pop. Like let's write. Started writing, released a few songs that I hate like so much, and now I've written a lot of songs that are coming out over the next couple months, and I'm honestly most excited about these because I think I was trying to chase a different sound that wasn't actually me. And now I'm starting to find my sound, and it's a little bit more like it's pop, but it's country. It's pop country. It's more country leaning. You know, I'm from the South, you'd say, and that's a lot of the music I listen to. So it's a little bit more like organic instrumentation and live instruments. You'll see if you come to the show, you'll hear a lot of the new stuff, and it's a little different. It's still pop, but it's got some country undertones.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful to get some insights, not only into the American Idol world, but back to your Viking playing days. So, Blake, best of luck. I hope you come up here where I can come see you, or maybe I'll have to fly in or see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Best of luck. So, for myself, Troy, final thoughts?
Blake, I just want to appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join us. And like I said, Minneapolis people, get that sold out. Fine Line, July 25th.
Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Don't ever stop watching the Geary, Stein and Stevens show. You can find it, of course, on your home TV, on Roku, or on any social media platform, Apple, Spotify, and we still don't know where Will is. We had Will in Minnesota, but we don't have him now. I guess he had to go to class or something, Troy?
Yeah, he's doing something Viking related, I'm sure.
He's going to be kicking himself. He's got a Viking right here, and he didn't get to see him. But Troy, for myself, for Blake, and wherever Will is, good night, everybody. That's a wrap from the Geary, Stein, and Stevens show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Geary, Stein and Stevens show. Follow us on social media. Watch us on yourhometv.com, or now we're on Roku. Download it and watch us. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time, America.